Two of the elite scorers in the Peach Belt Conference are set to do battle in this one this afternoon. But first, let's join the athletic director for Augusta University, Clint Bryant. Outstanding AD, national acclaim, as he's out at half court with special presentations for this year's Senior Day activities. And we'll let you hear from the public address announcer, Jason Shear, who has one of the cheerleaders, the first of the seniors, being recognized here this afternoon. Cameron Wilson getting acknowledged.
Cameron transferred to Augusta after 2 years at Augusta College. She's majored in criminal justice. Her junior season, Cameron started and played in all 28 games. She's currently 7
Cameron Wilson with 8 points this afternoon in Augusta's 65-51 victory over the Bobcats.
Second and final senior from the women's basketball team, wears number 25 for the Jaguars, Monisha Goldsboro.
Monisha Goldsboro.
Monisha is the two-year transfer from Tifton, Georgia. After starting her career at Santa Fe College, she transferred to Augusta to pursue her degree in health sciences. Monisha started in 24 of 25 games played in her debut year as a Jaguar. She led the team in blocks her junior season. After taking a medical measure in 2018, Monisha has returned to the court this year for her final season. She has started in 14 of the 18 games played this year. Monisha is escorted by her dad, Ronald Goldsboro, and her boyfriend, Rick Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, number 25, Monisha Goldsboro.
The two seniors.
For our lone men's basketball senior,
One senior
number 22,
on the men's squad. Number 22 on the program, number 1 in your heart, Hoffa. Rafael Montero with a huge smile.
transferred to Augusta from Utah State University Houston and is a business administration major, currently with a 4.0 GPA. In 2018-2019, Rafael was named second team All-Conference, Peach Belt Conference All-Tournament team, and NCAA Southeast Region All-Tournament team. He was ranked second on the team in both points and rebounds per game. He posted 31 games with double-digit points and helped the team earn number 16 national ranking, win the regular season championship, the conference tournament championship, and reach the NCAA tournament Sweet 16. This year, his senior season, he currently leads the team in points with 18.1 per game. He's also second on the team in rebounds per game at 9.2. Rafael is escorted by his girlfriend, Gabrielle Nicole Sainsbury. Ladies and gentlemen, number 22, Rafael Montero.
And now all the seniors will come together for a group photo. The cheerleaders and men's and women's basketball players, with both the men's and women's program standing by, athletes, student athletes.
All right, everybody squeeze together. We're going to get a wide shot.
The old panoramic view is what they need on this one.
Everybody smile.
Senior Day here in Augusta, Georgia.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, one more round of applause for
A special day,
seniors. Thank you for everything you
to be sure.
and best of luck in the future.
And after they clear the court, they'll reset the clock to 5 minutes and get some pregame warm-up going. So it gives us a chance, in case you just tuned in, I'm the Mac Daddy, Charles McNeil. Will give you our full pregame show, as always, coming up in just about a minute from now. The full pregame show will be coming up in a minute. But want to recap quickly the girls, the women's contest, the first game of our doubleheader. AU victorious 65-51, their win over Georgia College, and they're headed to the postseason. March Madness will be happening for the women after a tremendous victory in which Zaria West led us in scoring with 17 points, Kennedy Manning with 14 points, 7 rebounds. West had 9 boards, and Stella Lavagnon with 13 points and 6 rebounds, as they were able to get past the outstanding scoring prowess of Harper Vick, who led all scorers with 21 points in the game, and Kiana Wesley got them off to a fast start as well. She had 11. As a matter of fact, they combined for the first 11 points their team put up in this one. Three nights ago, the reigning Peach Belt Conference champion Jaguars welcomed their rivals from the East. USC Aiken, Augusta University pummeled the Pacers 91-69 to gain a stranglehold on second place in the league standings. This afternoon, the Jaguars hope to send their lone four-year player, Rafael Montero, out with a bang on senior day as they take on Georgia College and State University. Welcome once again inside the Christenberry Fieldhouse on the campus of Augusta University for Senior Day 2020. I'm the Mac Daddy of Sports, Charles McNeil, alongside a guy who is certainly, I know he can relate to the emotions that Montero has right now, Chad Cook. And CC, you covered Rafael Montero's outstanding four-year career, and of course 3 of those years here in Augusta. And we talk a lot about his accolades throughout today. But what are some of your early thoughts and reflections on the lone senior on the men's basketball program?
Well, you know, storybook is the phrase that comes to mind. Rafael being here now, just his second season. He first came on the radar of Augusta's Dip Mitras as a incoming freshman into college. For whatever reason, he didn't come to Augusta. Wasn't a match that was made at that moment. Went and played actually Division III basketball for a season. Then he went and played junior college basketball out in Utah. After 2 seasons, Augusta, lost a key inside player, Tamarick Fields, to graduation and needed a producer. Dip went back into his Rolodex and reconnected with Rafael, and his contribution here in 2 seasons has been immeasurable. He's won 48 games against only 13 losses. He's been a part of a starter on a regular season and conference championship team. A 15-game win streak his junior season and a 9-game win streak that he's currently in the middle of right now during his senior season. He's a Conference Player of the Year candidate. He was a second-team All-Conference player last year. On top of all that, he's going to graduate summa cum laude as a business major, a 4.0 student. Coach Dip Mitras and the Augusta University basketball program has never had a student athlete that matches the resume of Rafael Montero. I've said it over and over, he's the most skilled player I've ever seen wear a uniform here, and I just can't say enough about Rafael and the impact he has made in only 2 seasons here in Augusta.
Chad Cook very well said. Our opponent is currently in 6th place, Georgia College. What are Dip Mitras' keys this afternoon?
Well, the first thing he talked about when I talked to him was guarding the middle ball screen. Georgia College does an incredible job of taking care of the basketball and getting the right guys shots. So much of that is through their guards. Guarding those guards through ball screens will be important. And then Augusta on the other end has to get offense from its guards. I think Coach Dip Mitras shared with me that Tyree Myers, Miguel Arnold, and Darren Lucas White combined for only 8 points the last time these two teams played. They'll have to get more from them here today and then win the league. A win today and a UNC Pembroke loss tomorrow, if it should occur, would put Augusta into a tie for first place in the Peach Belt standings. The Jaguars will try to control what's in their control here today.
Well, coming up next is the starting lineups and the tip-off of Augusta University versus Georgia College, the Bobcats, powered by AUG B-Ball on SUV TV.
Augusta University basketball broadcast is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Adidas, AUG B-Ball, and SUV TV.
right now it's time as we return to the Christenberry Fieldhouse. It's time for another installment, the final regular season installment of Chad's Cooker. Chad, who do you expect to broil the Bobcats this afternoon?
Well, it's easy for me today to pick this one. That'll be Rafael Montero, the senior, the Peach Belt Conference Player of the Year candidate. He went 12 for 12 from the free throw line in the first half in Wednesday's big win over Aiken. Had 27 points and 12 rebounds. I think they'll play him single coverage, and that's right up Rafael's alley. He'll pour in the points here today.
Nobody's hotter than the Jaguars of Dip Metris in his 16th season, 20-7, 15-4 in conference play, 11-2 on their home floor, and winners of 9 consecutive games. They average 82 points a contest, shoot 50% from the field, 40% from three-point land, 67% from the line, and grab 38 rebounds while dishing out 15 assists this year. Pembroke is the top dog thus far with a 16-3 record. Augusta in the second place position at 15-4. Tied for third, you have Lander and USC Aiken at 13-6. In the fifth place position is Columbus State. They're 11-8. Georgia College and State University, our opponents this afternoon, 10-9. Flagler in the seventh place position. They're 9-10. And North Georgia rounds out the top 8 with a record of 8-11. We're ready for some basketball, and our opponent, Georgia College, 13-14 is their record, 10-9 in conference play, 6-9 their road record. Winners of 3 consecutive games. They average 75 points a contest, shooting at 40% from the field, 33% from long range, and 72% from the line. 37 rebounds, 14 assists, and 14 steals on the season. It's the tip up and controlled by Augusta. Tyshawn Crawford on the floor along with Miguel Arnold, Tyree Myers, Rafael Montero, and Troy Cracknell, the 5 on the floor for Augusta. They get in the low post. Tyshawn Crawford, the strong left-handed player, loses control of the basketball. Georgia College, first possession of the ball game and running the point duties for them is Wesley Simpson. Pull-up jump shot by Jordan Thomas, their leading scorer, and no good. Now down low, it's Hoffa to the basket. Right-handed layup is up and down.
A little taste of what's to come. We've seen 2 post touches for Augusta, no doubles coming from Georgia College. That's what I expected. I also expect Rafael Montero to do well against such a setup as we saw in his first touch.
Perimeter shot, no good. We touched on the fact that they shoot 33% from long range, but they've got a couple of more prolific three-point shooters in the league, as there's another steal. Driving the lane, inside layup is up and good by Jordan Thomas out of Heritage High School, Conyers, Georgia. He scores 19 points a game, 4 rebounds, and one of the elite scorers in the league, currently the 4th leading scorer with that 19.3 average.
And Jordan Thomas scored 20 in the first half against Augusta and 30 in the game the last time these two teams met.
Tyshawn Crawford with the first field goal, his first. A fantastic ball game the last 2 times out, Chad.
Yeah, Tyshawn Crawford, that was a high-level post move he just made, got his body sealed up quite a bit away from the basket, able to use the length, but then also the soft touch on that jump hook.
Double-double in the last game against USC Aiken on Wednesday with 18 points. And 10 boards in the game prior to that against Young Harris. He did well also as Tyree Myers knocks down the triple.
One of the keys to the game was for Myers, Miguel Arnold, and Darren Lucas White to play well offensively. You see Tyree hunting his offense here. Simpson goes under the screen twice. Myers makes him pay. And
that other game that I referred to that Tyshawn has been stepping up, 28 points and 14 boards right here at home against Young Harris. So 2 wonderful games for Tyshawn Crawford as he's rounding into shape. And you can see just in his whole demeanor, he's a different guy than started the season.
Yeah, it's just not an easy shot. Not many players, regardless of how tall they are, can make that shot. At 7'1", the ability to make that shot is just simply unstoppable. You know, I mentioned no doubles in the post on the first 2 touches for Montero and Tyshawn Crawford. Really plays into Augusta's hand. Those 2 guys, Rafael Montero with 27 points and 12 boards Wednesday, Crawford with 18 points and 10 boards.
Three-point attempt, no good. Loose ball rebound as Richard Crawford into the contest, the young man we know very well. Played his high school ball here. Montero with the turn and face, and he knocks it down and a foul.
4 post touches, 3 made baskets, and maybe a free throw here for Rafael Montero. 2 made baskets for Montero, this being the second. We saw him do that a couple weeks ago against UNC Pembroke. Dimitris told me that he's been working on that move. You know, he's not the tallest post player in the world, 6'4". He uses his strength to get into the middle of the paint and then just a little bit of an awkward release to lift it up over the top of the defender.
That was a big basket by Montero, Chad.
Sure was.
4 points, now 5 in the game.
That's exactly right, and he needed 4 to get to 1,000. What a feat to get 1,000 points in 2 years here for Rafael Montero. I think they're going to honor him here at the dead ball. If not, it will happen at some point.
In all likelihood, the under 16.
Very, very good point.
Miguel having a conversation with the official as a beautiful drive and an offensive foul called as Tyree Myers was worse for wear.
Great job by Tyree Myers getting set up outside of that jump ball circle and taking the contact. Augusta sure looks dialed in here early.
Myers and Richard Crawford working head-to-head at top. Now they get it down the low post. Strong drive. Crawford rattles halfway down and pops out. Much shorter player he was working against. Simpson to Crawford. Crawford will reset. Early breather for Jordan Thomas.
Yeah, you see he's got those things that hang out of his nostrils. I think he took a blow to the nose.
Crawford's jump shot no good. Rebounded in control by the Bobcats. Might remember Richard Crawford from Greenbrier. Austin Sloan got it in the low post and found his teammate, and he put it home.
Simpson's a heck of a player. I saw him light up UNC Pembroke for a road win earlier this year, and does really good job in the post as he did there.
Tyree Myers with his second field goal. He's got 5. Sophomore out of Baltimore, Maryland.
Tyree's really hit his stride lately. Had 18 points against the league leader Pembroke a couple Saturdays ago. Been playing great basketball for the Jaguars.
High floater off the glass. Justin Cave, who averages 10 points a game, out of Islands High School in Savannah.
Georgia College has a roster dominated by Georgia high school basketball players, former Georgia high school basketball players.
Rafael Montero dialing up a 3-ball.
That high-low action with Rafael at the top of the key and Tyshawn Crawford in the low post. The defender caught sloughing off. Rafael trying to help against Crawford. Montero makes him pay.
Troy Cracknell whistled for the infraction on the block. He didn't agree with that call as we've got the under 16 timeout. And we're going to stay right here you saw Cracknell not quite get into defensive possession, as now we will have a special presentation for Rafael Montero. Scored the 4 points early, got it out of the way, and with it, now over 1,000 points in his career and working on 2,000.
Such an incredible task to get to 1,000 points in less than 2 seasons. Rafael, only the second player to do that in Dimitris' tenure here at Augusta, the other being Fred Brathwaite, one of the program's all-time greats, part of 2 of Augusta's 3 Elite 8 teams. That's a move, I said it earlier, that's a move that Coach Dimitris told me Rafael was working on, especially before the UNC Pembroke game. With Pembroke having such a tall front line, he figured he would have to loft it over the taller defenders and shoot a fadeaway. Here he spins, finds a way to finish it. Once he gets you on his hip, he's so strong. He showed it there.
Got some housekeeping going on the floor. Touched on the fact that Jordan Thomas had taken a shot to the right nostril. As a result, there's blood on the floor in various places around the three-point line and just inside of it.
You know, it's as we wait for the floor to be tended to, this game is so tailor-made for Rafael Montero. Talk about no post doubles. Talked about, you know, he's able to score against every team in the league, like a UNC Pembroke that has, you know, multiple 6'10", 6'9", even 7-foot players. But today he's going against a much smaller front line. You know, that's number 10. Brandon Thomas plays off of him and he strokes a 3. But you'll see him working against shorter defenders here. Here Thomas plays off of him. Thomas is 6'3". Usually Rafael Montero has to score against taller defenders at 6'4", playing predominantly in the post. Today he's playing against guys his size and smaller, and they're not doubling on top of that. The senior on the senior day could really have a big one here.
Augusta up by 9. Thomas launching a 3, and it's good. Jordan Thomas, that is his 39th three-point make of the season, and he shoots at 36% on the year. As Darren Lucas White into the lineup after the break, also Robert Barlone.
Darren Lucas White caught that ball and drove straight to the basket, picking up where he left off with a 14-point effort Wednesday off the bench against USC Aiken.
Montero got it against a much smaller opponent. He's about to go to work. Well, he reached in and committed the foul.
Yeah, I don't envy A.J. James right now, a 6'1" freshman, having to guard Rafael Montero.
Young man out of Elbert County. There's Montero working on him.
It's going to be a tough cover for James.
So Hoffa off to a fast start. He's got 10 already. Augusta lead is 17-9. Jordan Thomas dropped it home, but after the whistle.
So I keep mentioning the tough assignment that James has against Rafael Montero. On the other end, Jordan Thomas is a tough assignment for anybody. If anybody's up to the task, it might be it is Darren Lucas White. Here, Thomas gets the better of him by drawing the foul, but that's a matchup to watch. Number 11, Darren Lucas White, and White against number 1, Jordan Thomas and Green.
Augusta in a man-to-man. And there goes Thomas to work. But there goes Lucas White to work as well as they come up with a steal. Lucas White with a rare three. A.J. James into the post, Chris Parks. Parks with the jump hook, side rim no good, rebounded by Montero, who goes down and releases it to Tyree Myers.
Great job playing position defense by Robert Barloon there. Demetrius loves what he brings to the team defensively at his height at 6'8". He's always in the right place.
High floater, Miguel Arnold. Parks with a variety of moves.
Another great defensive possession by Robert Barloon. Just better offense by Parks. Somehow got that shot to fall over the 6'8" wingspan of Robert Barloon.
Queens University transfer. Lucas White to the hole. Contact and a whistle. It's time for our second TV timeout. It comes with 11:40 left to play. And the Jaguars leading by 6.
You know, something we haven't seen yet, and this is rare for Augusta. 8 minutes into the ball game, we haven't seen an attempt, by my recollection, by Miguel Arnold or Troy Cracknell. One attempt by Miguel. Yeah, I remember that pull-up jump shot, but nothing from behind the arc from the two sharpshooters, and that puts to mind, you know, the last game that Augusta lost was to Georgia College on the road. Team has run off 9 straight victories since, and Coach Metras told me, that's why I came into this game harping on the fact that Georgia College wouldn't double in the post. Coach Metras told me that in that game, there was no double in the post, and what they would do is basically face guard Miguel Arnold and Troy Cracknell all over the court, take away the catch and shoot threes from those guys, and make Rafael Montero and Tyshawn Crawford beat them almost by themselves in the post. It worked like a charm for Georgia College the first time around. So far today, it's worked in Augusta's advantage because Crawford and Montero are on a streak to begin this ball game, but you wonder if two of the main weapons for Augusta are going to be taken out of the game. You wonder how the game will develop as 40 minutes tick off the clock.
Darren Lucas White at the line. First one rattles off, no good.
That dynamic of Georgia College taking Arnold and Cracknell out of the game that first time is part of why one of the keys to the game today from Metras was having those two guys and Tyree Myers play aggressively offensively. We've seen that from Myers with 5 points here early, not as much from Arnold and Cracknell.
The 73% free throw shooter made 1 of 2 to extend the lead to 7. Thomas, top of the circle. Puts it in the hands of Cave. Justin Cave.
It was a great possession for Augusta. First you had Darren Lucas White chasing Jordan Thomas around. You know, Jordan Thomas looked like he had a couple opportunities to get a shot off, but Darren Lucas White stayed with him, took that away, and then Cracknell, the team's other lockdown wing defender, forces an illegal screen with his activity on Cave.
Got a foul against Troy Cracknell. Troy Cracknell just picked up his 3rd personal foul.
I did not know that Troy was playing with 2. That's so uncommon for Metras to have a guy on the court with 2 fouls in the first half. I'm sure he had Troy out there because Troy's a smart player and he could avoid that 3rd foul, but it worked out just the opposite here today. Gives us an opportunity.
I was going to say, forced into action, you've got Anthony Torelli. See him in with the ones.
Torelli, the freshman, came in with a lot of high expectations. Got a lot of talent, a lot of potential. It's good to see him out here early today with the ball right now.
Torelli. Good one-on-one player as he gets to the basket but travels. We've seen his one-on-one skills work to perfection early on this year with a baseline slam. That certainly could have been a Sports Center top 10.
Certainly a highlight play against North Georgia earlier in the season here at home.
Torelli on the reach this time. The other thing about Torelli that you and I have to admire is that head of hair he's got.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
What a flowing lock
See
that
him
young man has.
fighting through the screen here. He gets caught with his hands in the cookie jar. I think they're going to want to know if that was a 2 or a 3 attempt. The referees are over here. They're going to check to see if that attempt was a 2 or a 3. I think they're going to have a good look at it here. That's a tough angle there. I'm not sure if we have the baseline or not. We do. The refs are asking for it to be slowed down. I don't think they can slow it. I think this is as slow as it gets here. Yeah, the refs are asking for it to be paused. They're being told that we don't have that capability. We've got the capability to keep running it back at this same speed.
You're going to count it as a 3 ball.
Yeah, I think his foot was probably on the line, but that's an example of, watching football and instant replay, for decades almost now. Whatever the call on the floor is, if they don't have conclusive evidence, they go with the call on the floor, and I think they did that one right.
At the line, Justin Cave, an 80% free throw shooter.
I think if I had access to the most recent stat sheet, I'd wonder how many fouls Miguel Arnold has. With Troy Cracknell with 3. Almost expect to see Arnold out there on the floor, and he's not.
Darren Lucas White with the charge.
It's an offensive foul on Augusta's Darren Lucas White. His second and Jaguars' 6th foul in the first half.
Hey, I'm getting crazy. Come on, man, call it both ways.
2 teams headed toward the postseason. Augusta currently in 2nd place in the Peach Belt. Georgia College in the 6th position. And air ball tossed up there. And now Augusta in the front court. Tyree Myers downloaded Tyshawn Crawford back on the floor. Takes it inside, and he travels.
I usually say that I enjoy watching Darren Lucas White rebound on defense because of how high he gets and how physical he is. On that last play, did a masterful job of blocking out, letting the ball come to him on the floor. Only to be negated on the other end by a travel by Tyshawn Crawford.
Parks gets it taken out of his hand by Crawford.
That was a great job by Crawford, moving his feet, cutting off the baseline drive, and then keeping his hands active, deflecting a ball and bringing it into his control. You don't see that often by a 7-footer.
Crawford triple team down in there, and there's a whistle.
Triple teamed and mauled at the same time.
Again, you're playing against Bobcats, so they've got those huge claws. You gotta watch out.
See here, 3 bodies and a lot of contact.
Crawford at the line.
Gosh, how far has Tyshawn Crawford come? Up there stroking free throws like he's I predicted the other day that before he leaves here, he'll be a 70+% foul shooter.
You know, we loved his form from the beginning. Just wasn't getting the benefit of the doubt.
He was shooting under 30% from the foul line before conference play started. He's up over 50 for the year now. Looks really good shooting them to me.
Brandon Thomas with his first launch. 35% three-point shooter. Transfer from Mercer University. So Augusta up by 7, but the Bobcats with the basketball. Jordan Thomas. The shot clock coming down to 10. Top of the circle, 3 by the center. Austin Sloan, 6'7". He's a freshman out of Warner Robins, Houston County High School, knocking down the triple. Torelli, Montero, Myers, Sean Moss at the top of the circle, high arcing shot, no good. With 2 players down, they're running. Spin move. Over the top, and then a missed layup inside, kept alive by Moss into the corner. It'll be out of bounds off Torelli and Augusta. So it's the under 8 timeout with Augusta's lead down to 4. Dipmitris not too pleased. The Jaguars hope to overcome a 3-point loss to the Bobcats at Centennial Center 5 weeks ago today. AU scored the first 5 points of that game, but an 11-zip run before the first TV timeout gave Georgia College a lead they wouldn't relinquish. Rafael Montero and Tyshawn Crawford each had 19 points. Crawford added 18 boards in that game and 2 block shots. Montero with 8 rebounds and 3 assists. And Troy Cracknell added 12, but it was Jordan Thomas who went off with 30 points. Chris Parks, the big fellow, with 17. And the Bobcats made 11 three-pointers as they were able to prevail. Our next opponent coming up in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. The opening round will be Wednesday right here at the Christenberry Fieldhouse. It appears as if we'll face either Flagler or North Georgia, Chad. Who would you rather have?
Well, you know, I hate to, last game, in the women's game, I was trying to predict who the women would play, and I was kind of getting it wrong and fumbling over my words. But I think if Augusta wins today, I think Georgia College will be the opponent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they'll just stay here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they might just stay for a few days. But if Georgia College wins today, they'll be the 6th seed, and then I think it's most likely that Augusta will face Flagler. But as far as who I'd rather face, all these teams are so good. Whether they're 8th in the conference or 1st in the conference, anybody can beat anybody. As we see here today, the Bobcats, after a little bit of a slow start, are right here in this game.
Tyshawn Crawford runs right over Sloan, and that's an offensive foul.
It's only 1 on Tyshawn Crawford. You know, after a fast start, Augusta's really slowed down. One thing they haven't been able to get in quite some time is Rafael Montero alone in the post. Been feeding Tyshawn Crawford repeatedly. There's nothing wrong with that. He's definitely a load to handle. We'll see if Augusta can also include Montero in the mix these last 7 minutes of the first half.
Final seconds. Sloan at the top, wide open.
Incredible defense by Tyree Myers, but Sloan spotted up at the three-point line, and Tyshawn Crawford gave him a little bit too much space, and he made his second three-pointer of the last several minutes.
So back-to-back three-pointers for Sloan. Cuts the lead to 1. And Torelli launching. Front iron, no good. Miguel with the rebound. And another foul against Augusta.
That's going
That
to
goes against Tyshawn Crawford.
Yeah, it's going to be off the ball. We'll see if we see it here. He kind of appears to have tossed Sloan. It looked like Sloan, you know, when you're blocking out a much taller guy like that, you really have to work hard. And I feel like he maybe just lost his balance as he was trying very hard to block out Tyshawn Crawford. You know, there was a little bit of a shove in there.
48% free throw shooter is Sloan.
Big minutes for the freshman Sloan. Couple three-pointers, and then he sends Tyshawn Crawford to the bench with a couple fouls. He drew both of those fouls from Crawford.
He gives up 120 pounds to Tyshawn Crawford, listed at 6'7", 170. Augusta breaks the press. Nice look inside. Robert Barlone. And here come the Bobcats to take the lead, up by 3. On Thomas's 7th point of the game. Myers, Torelli gives it off to Barlone. Inside, and he misses another one.
Augusta's in such a tough spot right now. You've got Troy Cracknell, a starter on the bench with 3 fouls. You've got Tyshawn Crawford having picked up his 2nd foul. He'll be out for the half. Darren Lucas White, 6th man, 2 fouls on the bench. So we're seeing a lot of players that don't play considerable amounts of playing time out here playing, and Georgia College is taking advantage of it right now.
Nice look inside. Brandon Thomas dribbled out on the perimeter and found a teammate who knocked it down. That's Wesley Simpson.
So in the last 2 possessions, you've had Simpson make a tough 3 and Jordan Thomas make a tough 2. 2 guys that can really put the ball in the basket for Georgia College.
Sophomore Simpson averages nearly 11 points a game. He ranks 6th in rebounding in the conference with 7.8 and 8th in assists at nearly 4 games. As Moss, nothing but the bottom of the net for Sean Moss.
Sean Moss lets out a big scream after making that 3. He had missed his first 2. Such a reliable shooter off the bench. Now he'll draw the task of guarding Simpson. No easy one.
Simpson with the ball as a yo-yo. Dribbles down to the 10-second mark. Now looking for somebody, and it's Thomas. Got to get out there, Barlone. He does. Shot clock down to 1. Desperation heave. And Montero with the board inside off the box out of Sloan. And here come the Jaguars. Tyree kicks it out. Sean Moss wide open. There's a whistle, and that'll go against Tyree Myers.
It's an offensive foul on the Jaguars, Tyree Myers. His
Come on,
first.
man. Get on the clock. 2 minutes of foul. Work the whole play. You ain't working that if you get score. Come on, man.
Last possession we saw Moss having to stay with Wesley Simpson. Now he's got to take him in the post. Big advantage for Simpson down here.
Simpson's 3rd field goal. He's got 6. 5-point game. The largest lead for the Bobcats. Montero. There's Miguel Arnold. He can change some things.
He sure can.
It's his first field goal, and it forces a timeout. As maybe they found something on the defensive side, they can explore it.
Well, if you get the ball in Rafael Montero's hands, good things happen. He draws 2 there, finds the shooter, Miguel Arnold. These last 3 minutes and 44 seconds, I look for Rafael Montero to be the focus of Augusta's offense. You know, with Tyshawn Crawford on the bench, Troy Cracknell on the bench, we're going to see him here produce a shot for Sean Moss, draws the double team. Jordan Thomas leaves Moss. I don't think that's the strategy for Georgia College to double there. I think Thomas was just being opportunistic, trying to reach in there and get a steal. But Montero knows what to do with it. So 2 3-pointers by Augusta to stay within 2 points of Georgia College, playing with a group of players that maybe hasn't played together much at all this season. Those 2 3-pointers both coming on dishes from Rafael Montero. You know, on this other end here, Georgia College will have the ball coming out of the timeout. Focus in on number 2, Wesley Simpson, as well as number 1, Jordan Thomas. Thomas has Tyree Myers on him. That's a good matchup, as good as it gets when it comes to nobody can really guard Jordan Thomas for 40 minutes, but Tyree Myers can do a good job. But there's Wesley Simpson. He's a tough cover, makes that 3 there, and then on the next play, he took Sean Moss down in the low post and just backed him in and shot over him. I look for number 2, Wesley Simpson, to get down back into the low post against Miguel Arnold here, and that's where he is right now.
Double team forced him to bring it up top. Now Thomas has it. Top of the circle. Brandon Thomas finds the range.
Good job by Augusta to double team and get the ball out of Simpson's hands. The first time they rotated beautifully. Second time, I think that was a missed assignment by not taking Brandon Thomas's 3-pointer away on the kick out to the top of the key.
Brandon Thomas shoots threes at 35% on the year. And Sean Moss, front iron, short on the shot. Miguel with the follow. Tried to stick back and in the post. Barlone is fouled. Will stay down this end. So get a good glimpse there of Jack Cook underneath the basket.
Yeah, not only Jack Cook, I see Jack Cook's brother. I don't see Jack Cook's brother, but I see his brother's rec league basketball coach. And that rec league team, some have called the best 9 and 10-year-old Columbia County rec league basketball team of all time.
Oh my goodness.
Can you believe that people keep track of such things?
That's amazing.
Now, the first person to bring that question up was Daniel Cook himself.
Okay.
He wanted to know if I thought they were the best team of all time. And I told him, you know, after going 14-0 and nobody coming within maybe 25 points of them all season, they might very well
They
be.
certainly get consideration. Tyree Myers on the drive to the hole, was looking for Barloon to dump it off to. And instead, a foul was committed.
Remember those keys to the game, Tyree Myers, Miguel Arnold, and Troy Cracknell being aggressive offensively. There's Tyree Myers pushing the action, getting to the foul line. Besides a Miguel Arnold 3, Myers has been the only one to deliver on that key to the game. Augusta's doing everything they can to stay close and narrow this deficit before halftime, when they'll, in the second half, get back the services of Tyshawn Crawford, Darren Lucas White, and Troy Cracknell. This kind of game, this low-scoring game where Georgia College nurses a lead, this is exactly what the Bobcats are best at. They eat up a lot of shot clock and then get the right guys the ball, whether it be Wesley Simpson or Jordan Thomas.
Yeah, 7-point differential between what the Georgia College team scores and what we score. As another 3-ball goes down. This time it's Wesley Simpson.
Well, that was Cave on the kick
Okay.
out from Simpson. And see, on 3 possessions that Simpson has gotten the ball in the low post, he scored once and kicked it out from a double team to 2 open 3-point shooters who both made it.
There's a steal. Jordan Thomas finds a teammate, Brandon Thomas, who knocks it down. So both of Brandon Thomas's field goals have come from long range. Averages 8 points and 3 rebounds a contest. And this is their largest lead at 10. We don't want to get into a three-point shooting contest against them. Although we shoot at a better percentage, they're shooting lights out.
Thomas will nurse this clock and then go one-on-one against Miguel Arnold. This is the kind of basketball Georgia College is best at. Get a lead and then shorten the game by working the shot clock, putting the ball in the hands of their best scorers.
Sean Moss coming over the top to force a possession arrow situation, held ball. Georgia College with 6 made threes in the first half. Augusta with 4 of their own. We've got a timeout on the floor with 47.9 seconds remaining, and Augusta down by 10.
So Charles, with 2 seconds to go on the shot clock, and Sean Moss forcing a jump ball, arrow goes to Georgia College. They don't reset that. Is that right? I mean, I see 2 up on the shot clock.
No, I think you got to reset it.
I would think it would be a reset, which would have been very much in Georgia College's favor. But if that thing stays at 2, that's kind of surprising to me, and it's definitely a break for Augusta, or an example of the rule working in their favor. It's fair.
Right.
You tie a guy up,
Right.
that's a good defensive play. You would hate to reward the offense.
As we come back to live action,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter as a 3 ball is up and down by Simpson. So I guess I was fortuitous calling Simpson with a 3 just a few seconds ago, because he knocked one down right there with 37.5 seconds left as we take another look.
Deep. Just a deep 3 by Wesley Simpson. Tyree Myers is nursing a sore leg right now. I don't know if that's his knee or not, but he's going to check out.
Great job by our SUV TV crew led by Lisa Burnett, our talented director, to get that replay while we were in replay. Miguel Arnold at the line for Augusta. Deep knee bend, and he drills it. So Augusta needed that. And now the final 30 seconds. 6-second difference between shot clock and game clock.
Jordan Thomas is able to get past Sean Moss. Watch out for open shooters like Cave and Simpson.
Wide open. And another made field goal from deep. Justin Cave knocking it down. Final seconds of the first half. Arnold with the desperation heave, and it's just off the side rim, no good. And that's the end of the first half as Dip Matris takes a strong look at the officials as they're headed toward the locker room. And Dip will wait and see if he might be able to catch a couple of seconds with one of the officials before he heads to the halftime locker room as the official comes over. And just as he does, Dip, Johnny on the spot, to have a conversation with the official. It's your halftime score. The Bobcats up by 15, 43-28. And our own Chad Cook has his special guest standing by. That's Coach Dip Matris.
Okay, Coach, foul trouble. Tyree had a bump, looked like at the end of the first half. Guys are red hot on the other team. What's it going to take this second half?
Well, we better guard the three-point line. They've done a great job. We've got good players sitting over with us. Other guys are getting an opportunity, not getting it done. Hopefully our stars can stand the floor. Dug ourselves a 15-minute hole. We got the ball starting half. We'll see what we can do.
The way they shorten the game with long possessions, it's going to take some poise to play through the 30-second shot clock and get some stops.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got to complete some plays around the basket, make our free throws. We lacked discipline a couple times on our post-up. We didn't rotate. So we got our work to do. We got to have a good half.
Good luck second half, Coach. Okay, Charles, I'll send it back to you.
Chad, we've got a championship jump rope team out there representing themselves, showing their wares to the fans. Hundreds in attendance here this afternoon. They're in for a treat on Senior Day 2020 with the Jaguars trailing by 15 at the break. You heard the thoughts of Coach Dipmitris in his 16th year, and knowing his team has at least the second slot in the conference coming out of today's game, would love to continue their winning ways, winners of 9 consecutive, but another hot team in Georgia College, winners of 3 consecutive, have something else to say as they've held us to just 28 points in the first half, and they did so despite the fact that Augusta shot 42.9%, 9 of 21 from the field, 40% from three-point land, and 70% from the line, 7 of 10 on the other side. Tremendous shooting and scoring by Georgia College, 15 of 29 from the field. They're shooting 51.7% from three-point land, 9 made threes. That's 52.9%, and 4 of 5 from long range, from the free throw line rather, 4 of 5, that's 80%. Other numbers of interest to you: Augusta out-rebounded 16-12, despite the fact that Tyshawn Crawford and Rafael Montero had 4 and 3 respectively. Montero led the way for Augusta with 10 points and 4 rebounds. He's the young man in Chad's cooker. He felt like he was going to cook the best in this one, and he has, as he's eclipsed the 1,000 mark in his career in just 2 short seasons. 6 points in the game for Tyree Myers, 5 points for Miguel Arnold, 4 points for Tyshawn Crawford, 3 in the contest for Sean Moss, and 1 in the game for Darren Lucas White. That's the scoring for Augusta. 29 points on the board for the Jaguars. For Georgia College and State University, they were paced by Wesley Simpson and Justin Cave, each of those young men with 10. Simpson also added 5 boards, 8 points in the game for Austin Sloan. It was 7 in the game for Jordan Thomas, 6 points for Brandon Thomas, and 2 points for Chris Parks for the 43 on the board for the visitors from Milledgeville. So that's your scoring as far as leads are concerned. The largest lead for Georgia College was 14. And for Augusta University, their largest lead was 9. So a 23-point turnaround in this one has Georgia College up and in front. Other points of emphasis or note: points off turnovers. Georgia College taking full advantage of Augusta's turnovers. 8-5 for Augusta in the lead, and you don't want to be in the lead in turnovers, but 8-5 is the margin. But off of those, Georgia College scored 12 points, Augusta only scoring 2, and 8 points off the bench for Georgia College, only 4 for Augusta. We're going to take about a 6-minute timeout. Hopefully you enjoyed the halftime activity. When we come back, Chad will give you his second half thoughts leading into it, and we will get some previews going as we prepare for the postseason. We'll have the game for you this coming Wednesday from the Christenberry Fieldhouse against an unnamed opponent. And of course, we'll be following the women's contest as well, as they'll be heading out on the road on Wednesday in Peach Belt Conference tournament action. So just stay tuned right where you are. Get yourself a ice cold beverage of your choice and something warm to eat as we prepare for the second half of Augusta University down by 15 at the break, 43-28. This is powered by AUG B-Ball on SUV TV.
This Augusta University basketball broadcast is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Adidas, AUG B-Ball, and SUV TV.
You are anything but ordinary. You have your own path and your own potential to realize. At Augusta University, the advantages created by our diversity in thought, culture, and collaboration give you and us infinite opportunity. Together, we're changing our community, our campus, and our world. We are boundless. We are Augusta University.
Augusta University has 20 wins on the season. In order to get 21, they've got to come off the deck and come back fast. Trailing by 15 at the break, 43-28 as we welcome you back inside the Christenberry Fieldhouse with Chad Cook. I'm the Mac Daddy, Charles McNeil. Chad, one of the keys, obviously, that we've had an issue with is scoring the basketball in that first half, and it's kind of caught me by surprise in this one. Demetris, other than taking the paint off the walls at halftime in the locker room, what else do you think he told the Jaguars?
Well, he alluded to it at halftime, key players on the bench throughout the first half with foul troubles. And, the guys that came in kind of didn't pick up the slack. So those guys, Tyshawn Crawford, Darren Lucas White, and Troy Cracknell, get a chance to get back on the court. The thing that is really important here in the second half, and we talked about it with Coach Demetris at halftime, is the poise needed to, come back from this deficit. And you always say it, you can't get it all back at one time. But it's doubly important in this kind of game against Georgia College, who likes to take 30 seconds off the shot clock on each possession. There's not much movement. One guy has the ball, and then he goes one-on-one, and then, there might be a screen and roll or something. And then like we see right here, Jordan Thomas, it's, you make one mistake and all five guys on the court can make a three. We saw Austin Sloan make two threes. We saw Wesley Simpson make big threes. We saw Jordan Thomas and Brandon Thomas all make threes. Here's Brandon Thomas making one. So, they eat a lot of clock. They make you guard all over the court, and one little slip up is 3 points. And when you're already down 14 and you give up a three, it's a deflator after 30 seconds of defense. So can Augusta stay disciplined, stay focused, get the necessary stops, and then convert on the offensive end with this size advantage and chip away at this lead? That's what we'll look for in these next 20 minutes. Now here, just to extend that a little bit, coming out of the halftime, they'll draw up something specifically either for Tyshawn Crawford or Rafael Montero. Let's see if Augusta can execute.
Yeah, one of my keys in the second half, and fans, you can keep an eye on it. How many touches does Rafael Montero have in this second half? He just had his first touch. Good things happen when he has the ball in his hands. Now, second touch to open up the second half, and a jump hook is strong, but he'll go to the line to shoot two, and Augusta off to a good start.
So Montero there going against Brandon Thomas. Brandon Thomas measures 6'3". He's a redshirt freshman. Big advantage for Rafael. We saw that early in the first half. Augusta gets right back to it in the second half. And I'll say, you talk about Rafael's touches, specifically post touches. He'll get the ball at the top of the key almost every possession, but how many times will he get it deep in the post like he did there? I think that's going to be the key. 1 for 1 so far.
Two for two at the line during the ball game, and now 3 for 3. Montero, 7th in scoring, as we alluded to in the first half, 5th in rebounding in the league standings, and 7th in field goal shooting percentage at 58.5%. Parks headed at the top of the circle. And we have another foul against Troy Cracknell, so his afternoon has been spent on the bench.
He's trying to deny Jordan Thomas the ball, running through screens, and gets called for the foul right here. He was livid after that he didn't make contact on that play. It didn't appear.
Nice drive and a kick, and a double rejection. First Lucas White, and then Tyshawn Crawford defensively for the Jaguars.
So now Tyree Myers has to guard Jordan Thomas with Troy Cracknell having gone to the bench. So you've got Tyree Myers, number 2 for Augusta, on number 1, Jordan Thomas. Watch that matchup. And Darren Lucas White, Augusta's best defender, on number 2, Wesley Simpson.
Miguel Arnold guarding, and now Parks drives and can't get it over the big fella.
Count that as a win when Georgia College goes to Parks against Crawford on offense. That's an advantage Augusta.
That was your post touch right there by Montero.
I think he'll get another one here before this possession's over. Actually, Crawford.
Turns and faces. Side rim, tipped up there by Lucas White, who goes down hard. He was shoved underneath, and that'll be a foul.
Wesley
That's
Simpson.
Wesley Simpson picking up the infraction.
Yeah, he can't believe he got called for the foul here. I think it was just a little bit of a late call. I think there's the contact. I'm not sure he actually fouled Darren Lucas White on that play. He's got a little bit of a right to be upset, I think.
Yeah, I disagree with you. Lucas White had the principle of verticality.
Okay.
He went straight up. And that young man kind of ran into his space as he was in the air. And here we go with the break the other way. Ball tipped in the corner. Saved out there. And now the Bobcats on a strong drive to the hole. Count the basket and a foul.
So after Augusta was forced to play without Troy Cracknell and Tyshawn Crawford for so much of the first half, both of those guys pick up another foul less than 2 minutes into the second half. Cracknell on the bench with 4. Tyshawn Crawford at this moment still on the court with 3.
So Dipmitris rolling the dice early on in the second half. It's a minute and a half into it as Lucas White drives a lane, Euro step, lays it off the glass.
If ever there were a time when Darren Lucas White's explosion was needed, it's right now for the Jaguars. Great play there against full court pressure, just attacks the rim like you should do against such pressure.
And then right back the other way, posting up. Wesley Simpson against Lucas White, count the basket and a foul.
Wesley Simpson's got a lot to say after that play. He deserves the right to talk a little trash. Not sure where the foul is on that play, but good finish by Simpson nonetheless.
So 6 points out the gate for Wesley Simpson. Keeps the lead above double figures. It's now 16. Miguel, top of the circle 3 ball, and it's good.
Marganis is very upset with the Georgia College players, leaving Miguel Arnold alone for the 3 there. Georgia College had just taken a 16-point lead. Doesn't like the momentum going back momentarily in Augusta's way. Everybody kind of chases Tyree Myers, leaves Miguel Arnold wide open.
Yeah, definitely a missed assignment by Justin Cave.
You mentioned Dipmitris rolling the dice with Tyshawn Crawford on the floor with 3. Also Darren Lucas White with 3s, leaving him on the floor. Dipmitris expressed his dissatisfaction with the players pressed into duty in the first half when those guys had to go to the bench with foul trouble. So he's going to stay with Crawford and Darren Lucas White with 3 fouls with just under 18 minutes to go. What a tough assignment Darren Lucas White will have now. He'll have to chase around probably Wesley Simpson with 3 fouls. Simpson will take him into the low post.
Dip still working that official that he was working on the way to the halftime locker room. So a 13-point game following Miguel's 3-pointer and a timeout. And now Augusta on the defensive side. Parks couldn't get it to Simpson. Instead, he goes over to Cave, who launches a 3-ball, rebounded by the big fella. Now Miguel, who can light something up quickly. Pull-up jump shot, Arnold.
I talked about needing an explosion from Darren Lucas White. One from Miguel Arnold would go a long way as well. We've seen him make 2 straight jump shots.
Parks finds Jordan Thomas, and there's the big guy again, the long arm of the law. Tyshawn Crawford coming up huge. Lucas White, pull up. A hell ball situation. And the Bobcats will take over possession.
That ball was up for grabs, and Tyshawn Crawford reached at it first, playing with 3 fouls. I was wondering if he was going to pick up his 4th, and then I wondered if Raphael was going to pick up the foul. Got the benefit of the doubt on the call. Jump ball instead.
The huge bone of contention was on that jump shot by Lucas White, because it looked like he got hit on the elbow, and no call is now Tyree Myers says, yes, I did commit the foul against Jordan Thomas. What a tough cover that is, trying to stop Jordan Thomas.
Georgia College has beaten UNC Pembroke, the #1 team in the conference, on Pembroke's home court. Georgia College has beaten Lander, the #3 team, tied with UNC Aiken in the conference. They've beaten us, the #2 team. They can beat anybody in this league. They might be in that 6th or 7th slot right now, but they can beat anybody. They've shown it already, and they're showing it again today.
Wesley Simpson with the field goal. So this half has belonged to Simpson. He's got 8 in this half, 18 overall. Young man who averages nearly 11 points a game.
Simpson earned Player of the Week honors in the Peach Belt Conference earlier this season after leading Georgia College to a victory at UNC Pembroke, the #1 team in the conference.
Yeah, they've got two players that are Peach Belt Conference Players of the Week. You mentioned Simpson, and the current reigning Player of the Week is Jordan Thomas, coming off a 27.5 point, 4 rebound average over 2 games, including 2 huge wins during the stretch as well. Francis Marion, and then the buzzer-beating bucket in overtime to beat a tough opponent as well. He's 6th in the school's all-time scoring list.
He's
Got another
and he's
timeout on
only
the floor.
a junior, right?
Yeah.
6th on the all-time scoring list, only a junior.
We talked about Senior Day. Senior Day really doesn't have any impact for Georgia College, as they had 1 lone senior, and he sees limited action. That's Roberts. So everybody's coming back to a squad that's currently in the 6th place position in the league. Means that the future looks bright to Coach Mark Gaines in the 6th season out of Georgia Southwestern.
Certainly. The second here, we're going to have to figure out what the score is. You know, as you can see, the clock has been zeroed out. Now they're starting to work on it. It's either 51, yeah, 51-38. Tyshawn Crawford will go to the line for 2. I think maybe Demetrius said, hey, let's start over. Let's start over. I think we can beat these guys if we start off 0-0 again. But Mark Gaines and Georgia College had different plans. They said, no, we'll go ahead and keep that 13-point lead.
The Dean, Demetrius.
This game's an important game. You know, Augusta's locked up the 2nd spot in the conference no matter what. But, you know, you want to extend this 9-game winning streak, finish the regular season with a 10-game streak. You always want to win. But every game counts right now for regional seeding. Augusta was in the 5th spot at the last reset of rankings. After that reset, Augusta beat Aiken, and the team Catawba out of the South Atlantic Conference that was in the 4th spot got beat by Anderson College. So Augusta was poised to move up into that 4th spot, and a loss here today, I'm not sure what it will do to that, but you know, that's why you want, this isn't a meaningless conference game. No game's ever meaningless, but this one is as important as any other game because it factors into regional rankings, which are how the NCAA tournament gets seeded.
Tyshawn Crawford with an extra opportunity on the lane violation by Georgia College. And Tyshawn now with 6 points in the game. Touched on the importance of him getting the ball. He's already made an appearance on the defensive side. Now scoring the free throw line is a bonus. Turn and face, Cave. Side rim no good. Now the big guy in the post, but Tyree Myers with the pull-up. Myers, front iron, no good. Now Myers will go to the line.
Augusta starting to chip away at this lead. We saw Miguel Arnold come off that high ball screen from Rafael Montero a little while ago and make that little jump shot that Tyree just shot. Tyree now gets himself to the line.
He has 7 now, 2 of 3 shooting. Now 3 of 4.
Augusta running some full court pressure here, some token pressure. Kind of got Georgia College out of what it had been doing, that isolation. Oh, that's a tough call.
Tyree Myers picking up a foul.
Tyree Myers comes out of that play a little gimpy too. Hopefully he'll be okay. You know, he comes, hands the ball off, and when you hand the ball off, it's almost like a screen, like a pick. And I think he was called for kind of throwing his body into the defender. He's wincing in pain on the bench. Hopefully Tyree's okay.
It looks like it's a right ankle issue. Thomas to Sloan. Loses control of the basketball, nearly over the top. Yanked in there by Simpson. Posting up against Miguel. Kicks it up. Jordan, top of the circle, 3-ball. Rattles out. Miguel with the rebound. Arnold. He'll bring it up the floor. Crossover on the dribble. Give it up top to Hoffa. Right side. Now they get it in low, and it's deflected out of bounds. Off the hands of Simpson and the Bobcats. So 9-point lead. There's the jump shot by Miguel, a little strong. Richard Crawford, right wing pass. Now he'll regain. Way outside is Crawford, young man out of Greenbrier. Right wing, jump shot in the air. It's good, and a foul. So all of Brandon Thomas's field goals have come from long range, and here's another one.
Nice little flare screen by Austin Sloan. Holds up Rafael Montero, who then makes contact on the follow through. As those 4 points are earned by Georgia College, I look over and see Tyree Myers getting his right ankle taped up. So Augusta's playing very short-handed right now without Cracknell and Tyree Myers. Cracknell with 4 fouls, Myers being taped up on the side. Darren Lucas White playing with 3 fouls. Tyshawn Crawford playing with 3 fouls.
We have one of the smallest guard rotations possible on this year's team. So get in low to the big guy, Tyshawn Crawford. And he said that's got to be a foul.
Pretty good little pass here by Darren Lucas White to slip that in there. There's the foul.
Richard Crawford picking up his first, team 6. Augusta with 16 fouls as well. Miguel, quick pull up.
So Miguel Arnold has joined the party here in the second half. Look for him to be much more aggressive. Augusta's going to need his firepower.
He's got 12, 7 here in the second half. And the lead is back down to 11. Crawford on the pull-up. Strong on that shot attempt. Moss kicked it over to Miguel. Behind the back dribble. Eludes 2 or 3 defenders. Miguel with some fancy dribbling. Now Moss. Dump it down low to Hoffa. 1,000-point score. No good. Rebounded by Crawford. Turns and faces the big guy. Can't get the roll, but he'll go back to the line.
I can't believe that foul wasn't called by the official who had the good view on it. Here you're going to see a lot of contact right here on the elbow. Still almost went in. This game's being played at a very slow pace. Only 7 minutes, less than 7 minutes have gone by in this second half. It feels like we've been here quite a while. Tyree Myers is back on the bench after being taped up.
Tyshawn Crawford, a perfect 6 for 6 for the 49% free throw shooter. And the irony in this, with those 2 made, Augusta climbing back in this one down to single digits is the lead of the Bobcats.
Expect to see this throughout the rest of this game. Georgia College dribbling the clock out near half court and going to work with under 10 seconds left in the shot clock.
Pull-up jump shot. Rebounded by Crawford, and here come the Jaguars. An 18-12 margin. The advantage, Augusta looking for more. Moss couldn't find the range on the 3 ball, and Demetrius wanted the loose ball foul underneath.
Again, Thomas will dribble this thing under 10. It's at 20 right now. You see Darren Lucas White with his hands behind his back playing with 3 fouls. He doesn't want to pick up that 4th.
Now 10 seconds on the shot clock. Thomas working his way toward Crawford to the basket. He lays it up and in.
What a player Jordan Thomas is.
His first made field goal here in the second half. He's got 9. Averages 19.3 a game. Hoffa down low. They get it inside to Tyshawn. There's a whistle and a foul. That'll be the Bobcats' 8th team foul. So following the timeout, Crawford will be at the line shooting a 1-and-1.
As we come out of this timeout, we're going to see Tyree Myers and Troy Cracknell re-enter the game. I think probably for Darren Lucas White and Sean Moss, so the starters will be back in for Augusta. 2 of them, I guess one of them playing with 3 fouls and one of them playing with 4. A lot of time left here. It's a real good test for Augusta going into the conference tournament and the postseason in general, which will include almost certainly an NCAA tournament appearance for the Jaguars. Real good test to be down double digits with 12 minutes to go, guys in foul trouble. Nothing comfortable about their situation right now. If they can overcome something like this, it has to give them a lot of confidence going into the postseason. Speaking of confidence going into the postseason, Georgia College is knocking on the door of a win over Lander and a win over Augusta, the number 3 and number 2 team in the conference, heading into the conference tournament. So, you know, they've proven throughout the season they can beat anybody. They win here today, they'll be riding high entering the conference tournament next week.
Yeah, 4-game win streak if they are able to come out with the victory here this afternoon as well. We talked about it earlier about the importance of rounding in the shape in these final games of the regular season, reaching your peak when you get to March. Again, Tyshawn Crawford at the line for Augusta as we come out of the timeout. Deep knee bend, and he gets his first miss of the afternoon at the 11:44 mark with Augusta down by 11.
Expect a high screen for Richard Crawford here. When he comes off that screen, expect the screener to pop for a three. Tyshawn Crawford will have to manage his way through all that.
Parks with the pull-up, partially deflected by the big guy, and that's a shot clock violation. They say he didn't touch it.
Great job by Tyshawn Crawford out there on an island guarding at the three-point line, blocks the three-point shot. This will be a difficult 11 minutes for Crawford, playing with 3 fouls, having to chase guys around the perimeter.
Darren Lucas White. Rafael Montero wide open.
Georgia College employing the same defense that USC Aiken employed Wednesday, not guarding Darren Lucas White out at the three-point line. Also making the mistake at the same time, though, of not guarding Rafael Montero, and he makes him pay.
Gentlemen in Chad's Cooker, Rafael Montero on senior day coming up big, and so is Jordan Thomas, the junior. His second field goal in a matter of minutes. He's got 11. Simpson, their leading scorer, with 18. 10 in the game for Brandon Thomas. Rafael Montero going for 2 in a row. Gets his, almost got his own rebound. He and Lucas White were battling for it.
So Darren Lucas White will get the chance to shoot free throws here. If he can see 2 go in here, it might give him a little bit of confidence. Georgia College playing way off of him. Darren has the ability to make shots from the perimeter. Like I said, if he can see a couple go in here, he might be a little more confident in letting it fly from the perimeter. Well, so much for that. Second time Augusta's missed the front end in the last 3 possessions.
2 of 3 on the night for the 73% free throw shooter. Lucas White guarding Jordan Thomas.
This is where we're reminded that there's no 5-second call in college basketball on the live dribble.
Up top, 3 ball. Back iron no good over the top. On the loose ball rebound by Parks.
So frustrating when Georgia College, so frustrating for Augusta when Georgia College runs that whole shot clock down, forces a tough 3. Augusta gets them to miss it, and then they don't clean the defensive glass.
Troy Cracknell back out in the lineup for Augusta with 4 fouls. As Lucas White in behind Thomas. There's a whistle and a foul. That'll go against Darren.
Speaking of 4 fouls, that's 4 on Lucas White. Demetrius demonstrating to the official what he thinks Jordan Thomas did on that play. He gets a step on Darren and then basically backs up into him. Forces a foul on Darren Lucas White, but Demetrius's point is that that shouldn't be a foul on Lucas White. Watch him back up into him. Better yet, maybe just slowing down and letting Darren run into him. Yeah, I mentioned how slow this game, the pace of this game is. Just a plodding pace. Frustrating for a team that's down double digits to play this kind of game. Georgia College is so methodical in the way they go about things. Can really wear on your psyche.
13 in the ball game for Jordan Thomas. Crawford. Right-handed hook, no good. Montero keeps it alive. He needs help. You got Cracknell wide open. Goes in with the hook, his own. Count it, and a foul.
Pretty impressive job by Rafael Montero of not picking up a foul going over the back and then just having the patience to take advantage of this mismatch over Brandon Thomas in the low post. That's 4 on Brandon Thomas. See how small Georgia College is now. This will send probably Jordan Cave to guard Rafael Montero.
Who misses a free throw.
I called him Jordan Cave. It's Justin Cave, sorry.
So 15 points remains for Montero. Pull up from deep. Barloon with the big board.
Excellent block out by Robert Barloon. That time forced the tough three, forced the miss, and cleaned the glass, did Augusta.
Hoffa. Lose control. Now regains. Backs his man down. Jump hook. Or was that a pass?
Yeah, it was a pass to Barloon, who wasn't quite ready for it. I'm not sure he could have gathered it in even if he were ready for it.
Half alley-oop. Half dump down.
We're going to see a lot of Jordan Thomas coming off high ball screens with under 10 seconds left in the shot clock here in the last 8 or so minutes of this game.
Wide open at the free throw line. Another one off the mark. Parks with the board. And as he works against Montero, there's a whistle. And that's an offensive foul call.
I think he called it on the line.
Okay,
on the inbounds.
On the end line. So 61-51 is our score, as we're under 8 minutes left to go in regulation in this one. And after the up and down play of Young Harris and USC Aiken, this is a far cry from this one and what we've experienced. And I think the Jaguars are having a little bit of difficulty adjusting. But this is more of what you expect when you get to the NCAAs.
Yeah, you know, it also, speaking of postseason runs, and you got to win 3 games to win the Peach Belt tournament. You got to win 6 games to win the NCAA tournament. And during the course of that, you're going to play teams of all different styles. And there's really no team in the Peach Belt Conference other than Georgia College that plays this style. And it can really throw a team off, when they play it well, which they're playing it extremely well here today. Now, I will say that the lights out shooting, the pick and pop, get a 3, hasn't worked as well of late for Georgia College. But Augusta's rhythm is so disrupted because of this slow pace. It seems like Augusta only goes on offense once every 2 or 3 minutes. And, it's so hard to get an offensive rhythm going. Augusta's been kind of forcing the ball into Rafael Montero. I would do it too. But the rhythm right now isn't really there. We saw a few shots go in for Miguel Arnold a little while ago, but that seems like it was 20 minutes ago by now. So we'll see if he can continue a hot shooting touch if he gets another opportunity here.
Cracknell on the floor with Myers. Miguel Arnold, Rafael Montero, and Robert Barloon. Myers just pulling up. Strong on that attempt. Barloon kept it alive to Cracknell. His layup is no good. There's a whistle and a foul. I think Cracknell missed that one, anticipating maybe falling on somebody.
Yeah, he's trying to get it to go in and get the foul at the same time. Yeah, that's the first attempt at a basket Troy's been able to see today. Looks good shooting the free throw.
And that's literally a good call, Chad. His first shot attempt of the game.
Yeah, and I guess by the stat sheet it's not even a shot attempt because he got fouled, but just the first time he's been able to see the opportunity to score. He's got 4 fouls, one of Augusta's better offensive threats by a mile, a pure shooter on the wing.
And that coming off 14 points against arch rival USC Aiken. Troy able to take care of business at the free throw line to cut the lead down to 8. Jordan Thomas right at Rafael Montero, who grabs the basketball, and it's alternate possession arrow, held ball in favor of Augusta.
So now when that ball screen comes out for Jordan Thomas, it'll come out by the man who Rafael Montero's guarding instead of the man who Tyshawn Crawford or even Robert Barloon still is on the court. But there, it was Rafael Montero. And Rafael's a post player, but he's very good out in the open parts of the court. So he did a masterful job there of switching and guarding the crafty Jordan Thomas.
Cracknell into the front court. Now to Myers. Surveys the defense. Dribble handoff to Miguel. Cracknell. Step through. Miguel. Shot clock at 10. High pick and roll, or pick and pop. Rafael Montero. Chance Cooker. Cooking up something right there.
That's why I call him the most skilled player to ever play here. Goes hard left, gets stopped cold, rises up off 1 foot, makes a 12-footer on the move. Incredible shot by Montero.
Parks with the defensive effort. Augusta with the strong defensive effort against Parks. Held ball. Possession arrow goes back to the green.
Augusta playing without Tyshawn Crawford now. I think that's because of the perimeter nature, how small Georgia College is out on the court right now. What that does is make Rafael Montero the center of attention on offense. Here he'll be in the two-man game with Tyree Myers on defense.
Brandon Thomas, right side, finds Wesley Simpson, who drives the lane. Misses from close range. And here come the Jaguars, down by 6 on a 2-possession game. Montero, front iron no good, tipped around by Barloon and pulled out of there. Big rebound by Brandon Thomas.
So Augusta,
Parks working against Barloon, a whistle and a foul inside.
And what I was going to say there before Robert Barloon got isolated in the post, what Georgia College is trying to do, they're trying to screen Jordan Thomas's man with Robert Barloon's man, the 6'8" Barloon not being as fleet of foot as Augusta's other 4 players. So they want to force a switch where Barloon has to guard Jordan Thomas. And what Augusta's doing is Rafael Montero will switch with Robert Barloon every time either Cave or Parks goes to screen. They'll switch real quick so that Montero's the man guarding the screener. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Miguel Arnold launching a 3. Pulled down by Montero, who keeps it alive up top to Myers. So that's another touch by Montero.
Speaking of touches.
Good look. Barloon.
Now let's watch this screen and roll on defense. Right now I expect probably Parks to go set this screen and put Barloon in the pick and roll. We'll see if Augusta's able to switch it and get Montero matched up onto Parks, if that is indeed what's coming.
Big field goal for the sophomore from Finland, Barloon, his first field goal of the ball game. Still a 6-point game. Jordan Thomas gets bumped, and a foul committed by Augusta's Tyree Myers.
So instead of going with the screen and roll, Georgia College just goes straight 1-4 on the baseline, one-on-one. Jordan Thomas against Tyree Myers. Tyree did probably get his body into Jordan Thomas a little bit right at the end there.
Three for 3 at the line is Thomas. He's got 16 now. 3 off his average. He drills the second one. So lead is back up to 8.
Georgia College now playing a zone. See if Troy Cracknell or Miguel Arnold can get an open look here against it.
Rafael off glass.
Better yet, let's go to the player of the year in the conference if I'm the only voter. Rafael Montero. Again, we're going to see Jordan Thomas going one-on-one with Tyree Myers. We're going to see this throughout the next 4 minutes. See Troy Cracknell and Miguel Arnold cheating up to help a little bit.
Thomas down to Parks, and Parks barrels through Montero for the offensive foul. He wanted to say that Montero was in the restricted area.
Yeah, I'm not sure the restricted area, if that counts when it comes to two players who are both on the floor. I know if a guy leaves the floor, you can't go up under him and take the charge in that restricted area. Actually, he was probably outside of it. Yeah. Incredible play there by Rafael Montero.
Presence of mind.
At the break there, we're at the under 4 timeout. We're going to see Rafael Montero. What a game he's having. He doesn't want to go down on senior day. But we saw at the break there, when we come out, Darren, look at him use the glass with that angle. That's such a tough angle. Anyway, Darren Lucas White will enter the game now for Robert Barloon. So Georgia College is playing with 4 guys under 6'2", and Chris Parks at 6'5". Now Augusta University will play with 4 guys at about 6'2" and under, and then Rafael Montero at 6'4". We might not see Tyshawn Crawford the rest of this game. We might, but we might not, because both teams have kind of locked into this smaller lineup to, Augusta basically responding to Georgia College. Georgia College played what I remember as the first possession of zone defense on that last possession. They'll start in full court pressure here. We'll see if they drop back into zone or man-to-man.
Going with a 1-3-1 press is Georgia College. Augusta token press. Enough to slow things down offensively.
Georgia College is in zone. Sorry to interrupt you, but they are in zone.
Lucas White, right side, Tyree for 3. Yes.
Tyree Myers, ice water in his veins. Hesitated not for a second there. He's got a determined look on his face against Jordan Thomas. If anybody's up to this task, it's Tyree Myers, guarding one of the best offensive players in the conference.
Shot clock at 10. Myers all over him. They get it down low, turn and face. Front iron, no good. Rebounded by Augusta's Cracknell. So the small lineup is working well for Augusta.
Great job by Myers on Jordan Thomas.
There's that touch I wanted to Montero. Pump. Turn and face. Turn around. Front iron, no good. Cracknell took a chance on that 5th foul as the reach over the top and pulled in there by Jordan Thomas and company.
Tyree Myers will once again have to get a stop here in a pivotal moment. They haven't been coming with a screen. It's been all one-on-one. It's going to be one-on-one again here, I think.
Thomas, crossover dribble. Pulls up, and I think he traveled, and he did. Traveling violation. What a defensive effort for the Jaguars.
2 in a row. Stopped Jordan Thomas cold, did Tyree Myers. Right after making a big 3 to cut it to a 1-possession ball game.
Heritage High School's own Jordan Thomas forced into 2 errant moves right there. And with it, Augusta with a chance to tie or take the lead. The Jaguars trail by as many as 19. Myers, 10 on the shot clock. Down low, that's that touch we wanted. Darren Lucas White, lefty layup is good, and a foul.
Darren Lucas White's mother's here today. I talked to her before the game. She's his biggest fan. I know she's happy right now. Her sophomore son goes to the foul line to tie things up possibly. Lets out a big yell there.
I love that play because he went to the left hand on the right side.
Exactly.
Made sure he drew contact. And Lucas White, who also had his struggles at the free throw line early on in the season, is dialed in now. And we're deadlocked at 65 with 1:43 left to play in regulation.
Will Georgia College bring a screen here? Tyree Myers has done the job one-on-one, 2 possessions in a row. Will Jordan Thomas get help? Yes, he will.
Thomas to the basket and a reach in by Lucas White, who obviously didn't believe it as he runs the other way. He knows his afternoon is done.
I was watching Tyshawn Crawford there. He was telling Demetrius, I want to go in, coach. I'll guard these guys out on the perimeter if I have to. Darren Lucas White forced to the bench with 5 fouls, and Augusta comes back with the big man.
So Lucas White fouling out of the ball game unofficially. Had 6 points this afternoon. Jordan Thomas with the chance to give his team back the lead. $17 now. Correction, 18 now for Thomas. (67-65), and the ball hits off the head, partially deflected of Richard Crawford, and it might have hit him in the face. And there's a dump down low, and Crawford wasn't looking for it. And 1 minute remaining, the Jaguars trailing by 2 as Crawford will bring the ball in the front court. And a timeout called by Georgia College and Coach Gaines. So a huge turnover for the Jaguars.
Tyree Myers got to the basket here and he tried to dump it off to Tyshawn Crawford. Kind of hit him in the leg there. 21 seconds on the shot clock with 53 seconds left on the game clock. Georgia College with a 2-point lead. They'll nurse every second of these 21. You know, I mentioned when Augusta was trailing by 13, this being a good test as they enter the postseason. Can they weather that storm? They've done a good job. Tied the ball game up. Now that another test comes here in this final minute. You wonder, will Augusta run a second player at Jordan Thomas out at the half-court line instead of letting him dribble all 21 seconds out? They don't have to. If they can get a stop, there'll be more than 30 seconds left in the game, and they can go the other way and get a bucket. If they are able to get a stop, and they're going to go with Robert Barloon instead of Tyshawn Crawford for this defensive possession. Barloon a little more capable out on the perimeter of staying with the ball handler. So you wonder, if you are able to get a stop, do you run it quick and try to get something before Georgia College can set up their defense, or do you call timeout to get Crawford back in, or even just slow it down and run a set play? First things first, so Augusta needs a stop.
Barloon has a difficult assignment as he's guarding Wesley Simpson.
Yeah, so look for Simpson to set this ball screen, then he'll pop. And if
said they work on the left side, Montero's got him. Pull-up jump shot. Tipped up. Who wants it? And Augusta does. And they've got a chance to tie or take the lead inside of 30 seconds left to go in regulation. Senior Day 2020. And it all comes down to this. Myers drives the lane. Myers puts it up off the offhand. Tipped up by Cracknell. Rebounded Barloon.
Now Augusta's got 10 seconds to defend here.
Augusta's been victim in that situation earlier on the road in the final seconds. giving up a big bucket to lose one.
What a great job by Robert Barloon, staying with it here, gathering it in traffic, bodies everywhere. The sophomore ties things up. Now with 10 seconds left in a tie ball game, as we see Barloon from another angle with his heroics. Darren Lucas White tied it earlier, now Barloon. Augusta hasn't led since the first half. But you mentioned last second situations. Augusta has fallen to buzzer beaters twice already this season, once here at home against Emmanuel, once on the road against Columbus State. You know, and then in addition to that, Sean Moss, Troy Cracknell, juniors on this team. They were on a team 2 years ago as freshmen that lost to Georgia College in this very moment. Georgia College had to go the full length of the court. The score was tied, and I'm pretty sure it was Jordan Thomas that made that shot as a freshman to end the ball game and give the Bobcats a road victory. I know Jag Nation doesn't want to see a repeat of that here today. If somehow Augusta can keep the ball out of Jordan Thomas's hands on this inbound, that's what they'll want to see. Now, the most dangerous player is often the inbound passer. That's Wesley Simpson, Georgia College's second best player, and he's being guarded by Robert Barloon. So if he passes it in and gets it right back, watch out.
Augusta's outscored Georgia College 39-24 here in the second half as Thomas drives the lane, and Thomas travels. Augusta has the ball. They don't put any more time on the clock. 3.6 seconds remaining. Augusta with a huge defensive stop.
What a great job by Robert Barloon. He just tied the game with a putback. Here, he steps up at the exact right moment. I thought it was maybe going to be a charge. Instead, it's a travel. Great job by Barloon cutting off Jordan Thomas's path. Watch him. He's going to let out some emotion here. He's looking around like, did you guys know I made the play there? Good for Barloon. I think we'll see Tyshawn Crawford in the game now. 3.6 seconds is an eternity. I'm tempted, if I'm Augusta, I'm tempted to plant him under the basket and throw it up, see if he can grab it and put it in. I don't know who's going to stop him from grabbing it.
So you've got two options that I think are pretty evident or self-evident. One of them is Tyshawn Crawford. The other one is the guy in your cooker, Rafael Montero, on senior day. How appropriate would it be as he gets the possession on the inbound? Back to Tyree. Tyree's going to have to do it. Pull up from half court. And it's just off the mark, and guess what, fans? You've got bonus basketball coming your way from the Christenberry Fieldhouse on senior day. Raphael's final regular season home game has to go into overtime.
How exciting is this, Charles? 5 extra minutes. Augusta was counted out probably by most fans after trailing by 16 in the second half, trailing by 13 with under 10 minutes to go, getting heroics from the likes of Robert Barloon. What a run now as we enter this bonus period. Augusta's playing with Troy Cracknell on the floor with 4 fouls. Does Crawford have 3 or 4 at this moment? I think it's 3. I'm going to look that up.
We got our stat sheet coming this way in just about 20 seconds. I know one fan that wasn't giving up on this one is up in Buckhead by the name of Danielle Rice-Mackey as she's tuned in. One of the biggest fans in the A that follows this team, and said she would be locked and loaded for this one. This has been a beauty.
Yeah, she follows all the games. Great to have her on board. I know she's saying go Jaguars right now.
21 points for Rafael Montero in regulation. Miguel Arnold with 12 points, 11 for Tyree Myers. And in balanced scoring for Georgia College, led by Wesley Simpson with 18, 17 for Jordan Thomas, 10 each for Brandon Thomas and Justin Cave. And the answer to the question, Tyshawn Crawford listed with just 2 personal fouls. Tyree Myers has 4, and 4 in the game for Troy Cracknell. The players in the most peril in this one.
Yeah, and that 4 on Tyree Myers caught me by surprise. That is huge for Augusta. He's going to need to be able to stay on the floor general.
Wesley Simpson with 4. Darren Lucas White is already fouled out. Augusta with the opening possession in OT. Bracknell, free throw jump shot. Tipped around and controlled by Georgia College.
So Tyree Myers, as I mentioned, playing with those 4 fouls, having to guard Jordan Thomas. I think, okay, so Augusta goes zone. I like that from Dimitris. I think it's the first time all game Augusta's done that. Certainly the first time since halftime.
Thomas with the pull-up. Side rim rebounded by Hoffa. And here come the Jaguars. Tyree Myers with the big fella setting the sun, and he knocks it down.
Ice water in the sophomore's veins. Tyree with a big smile. You don't see that often from Tyree Myers. He's still smiling, talking to Miguel Arnold about assignments on defense.
14 now for Tyree. Foul line. Kick on the wing. Lost control of the basketball, did Cave, and he regains. He'll reset with 10 seconds. Foul line. Pull up. That's Butter. Wesley Simpson. He's got 20.
Good job by Georgia College attacking that zone, getting right in the little sweet spot at the free throw line, making Tyshawn Crawford make a decision. Do I guard him closely or do I play off of him? Simpson's such a good player off the dribble. He plays off of him. Simpson makes him pay.
Miguel tried to find Montero in the post. Quick hand out there by the Bobcats to regain possession. 70-69, the Jaguars up by 1. 3 minutes left to play in overtime.
See if Georgia College is able to get it in that free throw line area again like they did last play.
Right wing, it's Cave for 3. Did not score in the second half, but scores here. He's got 13 now in the ball game, and the Bobcats have regained the lead by 2. Crawford asked for it. Now it's going one-on-one. Spin move. Back up top. Now they work the other side in the post. Montero, flop job. Couldn't go over the top because there was a guy on the floor in the person of Simpson, and he misfired on the shot, but he'll go to the line to earn 2.
Simpson caught guarding Montero. Tries to get the call there. Montero's hitting the head there. Augusta makes a defensive substitution back with Robert Barloon in for Tyshawn Crawford. See if Augusta goes back to a man-to-man with Barloon back in the game. Looks like Augusta is back into a man-to-man, so back to the one-on-one battle between Tyree Myers and Jordan Thomas.
23 points now for Rafael Montero. We're deadlocked again at 72 with 2:05 left to play.
10 seconds on the shot clock.
Oh, man. Tough call right there against Myers.
Yeah, it's going to be 5 on Tyree. Goes to the ground for the loose ball.
Wow, watch the action in the corner.
I remember a time when that was called. Going for the loose ball.
That one was tough right there.
So now Augusta playing without their point guard and without their backup point guard, Tyree Myers being the starting point guard, Darren Lucas White being the backup. Duties will fall to Miguel Arnold to get the team into its offense. for these last 2 minutes of play. Sean Moss into the game. Augusta trailing by 1.
21 in the game for Wesley Simpson now.
So a real test for Augusta coming back from double-digit deficit in the second half. A real test for Augusta being down 51 seconds remaining, down 2, and the ball being in possession of Georgia College. Augusta passed both of those tests by forcing overtime. Now you have a minute 50 seconds. You're trailing by 1. You have the ball, but you're without your first and second option point guards. And the tests continue here on the final regular season home game for the Jaguars. You know, in addition, you know, so when Miguel Arnold brings the ball up the court, the ball I expect will go into the post. And you got a couple guys in Sean Moss and Troy Cracknell who aren't in the best of rhythm offensively. Cracknell has a shot of 3 today, even though he's a marksman from out there. Moss has made 1 3, but that was in the first half.
Thomas guarding Arnold. Gets the high ball screen. Right side, Cracknell, there's the 3 you wanted. And unable to knock it down, but he'll go to the line for 3.
Great action from Augusta. I say it all the time. Augusta gets so much of their production out of, you know, good, solid teamwork. This is a set play to get the shooter, Troy Cracknell, a shot. They get him a shot. He almost turns it into possible 4-point play. Instead, he'll shoot 3 shots.
75% free throw shooter is Cracknell. 2 for 2 on the afternoon. And dead silence in the building. These fans very knowledgeable. Troy with 2 in a row. And Augusta's regained the lead.
Making 3 shots in a row from the foul line is hard for even the best of shooters. Doing it with the game on the line shows what Troy Cracknell's made of. Now Augusta will need to make a stop.
Thomas. Simpson with the pull-up. Rattled around and popped out. Cracknell with the rebound.
Last time Augusta went with Troy Cracknell off the screen away from the ball. Let's see what they go with here to try to get a 2-possession lead.
1 minute left to go in the first overtime. Shot clock at 5. Miguel, runner, blocked by Sloan. And there's a foul committed against Georgia College, and they cannot believe it. Huge call against the Bobcats.
Yeah, the official, right after calling block, he pointed at the what do you call it, the restricted area. And so the call is that Simpson wasn't outside of the restricted area. We might get a better look at it later, but right now we'll probably be watching Miguel shoot these free throws. Georgia College was not happy about that call. Pretty much everybody else in the gym was happy about that call.
Miguel Arnold with 12 points in the ball game and a 75% free throw shooter. Soft roll there.
It hasn't been an explosive night or day for Miguel Arnold, but he did make 3 jump shots in the beginning of the second half when Augusta was trailing by double digits to keep them somewhat in the ball game. So it's been a productive night for the sophomore.
2-possession game, 77-73. And a block.
No. See,
So
Troy
Robert Barloom picking up the foul.
Cracknell came out of here just upset about what he thought was a foul call on him, but it was actually on Barloom. Luckily for Cracknell, the official showed great patience in not hitting him with a technical foul. It's not that what Troy did was that
Egregious.
bad of a thing, but sometimes when you come out of that fray with a reaction like that, a referee can get a quick trigger. Good job on not doing that there, in my opinion.
Definitely a veteran referee. Realized that it wasn't directly about that,
So Augusta's in the
about
same
the circumstance.
Yeah, Augusta's in the same position Georgia College was in at the end of regulation. A 2-point lead and the ball. And a costly foul on Austin Sloan.
That's his 5th. So Sloan is done. The freshman out of Warner Robins. No points in the second half or overtime. Finished up with 8 points.
With my mind's racing a little bit, did you already know, because I look over there at Wesley Simpson, that blocking call must have been his 5th foul. I don't know if you already noted
did
that,
not.
but that's important as well with Augusta now a 3-point lead, maybe a 4 in a second, one of the 2 leading scorers being out of commission for Georgia College.
All of Troy Cracknell's points have come at the charity stripe. He has 7 now, 7 for 7. And a 4-point game indeed for the Jaguars, looking for win number 21 on the year. Thomas's 3-ball no good, rebounded by Augusta in the corner. And now Miguel Arnold.
What a comeback from Augusta University today. I admit, Charles, I didn't think it was possible at several moments.
And that is the 5th and final time foul register in this one. They had 20 seconds for Chris Parks before he heads to the bench.
Augusta ended last season with a 15-game winning streak before finally bowing out in the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament. Right now they're working on a 10-game winning streak if this deficit holds for the next 23 seconds. And when you go on winning streaks like that, you have to have games like this today that you probably don't deserve to win, and you find a way to win anyway.
Cave from deep with Miguel right there in his face. Arnold picking up a foul on a 2-possession game. And will send him to the line to cut it into a 1-possession situation.
You know, what you have here is a kick of the leg that draws the foul. And, you know, Miguel Arnold definitely got the raw end of that call. Truth be told, though, a few possessions ago when Troy Cracknell got fouled on a 3-pointer, that was on a kick of the leg as well. So those calls are so hard to make. I'm not challenging, you know, I'm not questioning the referee's call in the moment. I'm more saying that it's a very difficult call to get right.
14 points for Cave. And the Bobcats need this one. And it's strong. And Cave over the back of Cracknell.
I think we're going to do an extended interview series after this one, because I just got to have 3 different guys. It's going to be the senior Rafael Montero, no doubt. We're going to talk to Robert Barloon with the big bucket and defensive stop to force overtime. And then the fact that Troy Cracknell has been able to make all these key free throws, I want to talk to him as well as Dip Metris. And as soon as I say all that, I say, I'd like to talk to Tyree Myers as well. He made some big shots. Next thing you know, I'll probably have the whole team over there.
Might as well at senior day. Director Lisa can cancel her flight.
You know, I might give Troy the day off.
Shot misfired, rebounded by Montero, and he'll head over with 7 seconds remaining as Augusta looks to shore up their 21st victory of the year, finish up the regular season 16-4 in Peach Belt Conference play, and protect this house 12 times while yielding just 2 losses. As Rafael Montero going out in style at the free throw line after a tremendous ball game. Well respected in this community. And there's a few restaurants, once he graduates, he can't do it now, that he will not have to pay for any meals going forward. He knocks down a pair of free throws here. And his parents have to be extremely proud to watch their senior son get it done. And he's going to check out and get a big round of applause. Let's listen to him. Unofficially 25 points, with 4 of those coming in overtime for Montero. So the time has been announced. 7 p.m. is going to be the start time on this coming Wednesday as we host the first round of the Peach Belt Conference tournament as the 2nd seed on the men's side against an opponent yet to be named. Inbounds, long and up the floor. Intercepted by Richard Crawford. But no time remaining on the clock. Augusta with a big-time victory this afternoon of the final count, 84-76. Augusta now with their 10th consecutive win. And they have continued their magical run. About the midway point, they stood with a solid position and opportunity to get maybe a 4th seed or a 3rd seed, but they said they wanted more, and they certainly have gotten that and some as they were able to pull out the victory in this one by a final count of 84-76. So on senior day, what an effort, what a ball game, and what an outstanding desire these student athletes who continue to strive for greatness week in and week out. They do our city proud, and we certainly encourage each and every one of you to consider Augusta University as your college of choice as they plant the flag in the middle of the floor.
All of us right here, I'm here with a couple stars of the game. We got to talk real loud because the band's playing. Everybody's celebrating. Rafael, 25 points, 10 rebounds in your senior day game. You've had an incredible 2 seasons. You're one of my favorite players to ever wear this uniform. Talk about your 2 years here and the ability to go out with a win on senior day and a big day.
It has been great. I really appreciate the opportunity that Dip gave me. Coming here was like the best that happened to me, especially coming out of JUCO. I'm really happy that could win a lot here, and it's a great program. I'm really happy that we're here.
I think back to the first time I saw you play when you guys went and played an exhibition game at University of South Carolina, and in the second half, you're 6'4" and you get the ball in the low post and you back in a 6'10" guy. Bump him, shoot a jump hook over and make it in an important moment in the game. While you were backing in, I didn't know what you were doing, all right? So from that moment, getting a win at South Carolina, being a big part of that, becoming all-conference player, becoming a conference player of the year type player this year, did you think that this would be possible?
I wasn't really sure, especially coming out of JUCO. I didn't have a lot of offers, and I'm really happy that I was able to work with it. Dave taught me a lot, and I was able to learn here and get better. I really wasn't expecting it.
What kind of things did Dip teach you to, take your game from where you were to where it is now?
He taught me a lot of tempo. I'm not the strongest, I'm not the fastest, or I don't jump high, so I have to play in my speed and don't let people speed me up. So if I play on my speed, I can beat anybody. That's what he taught me a lot. And a lot of defense, how to be there before things happen so I can be effective, even though I'm not the fastest guy.
When you would get the ball, at the junior college you played at before here, would you be methodical like you are now, where you real patient, you back in, or you face up, test the defender? Did you play that way, or is that something Coach Mitchell's taught you?
It was both. I wasn't as patient.
It was a win, but it wasn't
sometimes
our
I did
best
that,
one.
but not as much as I do here.
It was
But he
a
emphasized a
struggle.
lot how I play, and that's a characteristic that he told me I should use more. And he ended up helping me a lot.
You and him seem like a match made in heaven. We are so lucky to have you. Congratulations on Senior Day, on an incredible 2 regular seasons here. Good luck in the postseason.
Thank you.
Now, Robert, the bucket to send it into overtime, the stop to seal, to get the stop to then all the way send it into overtime. Tell me about those 2 plays and how to make you feel.
I mean, I missed a couple easy shots first half. I missed a free throw. I wasn't playing the greatest, and even then, Hoffa kept telling me, keep going. Coach gave me a chance, put me in, and I just did what I know how to do. I didn't do anything special. It was just getting the bucket I practiced for.
Right place at the right time. And you talk about Coach believing in you, and he's believed in you since day one. He always talks about how well you play position defense. You're always in the right spot, and that's what that final play when you made Jordan Thomas run into you and travel. What do you think puts you in a position? Because it wasn't just that he went with you. He went with you for a reason, because of your defensive ability. What do you do on the defensive end that kind of sets you apart and earns you playing time?
Probably the biggest thing is I'm always vocal. Like, no matter how much I play, you don't hear me. Well, you hear me every time. So, like in practice and games, there's always my voice over top of the others. I'm vocal on the bench, so in a way I give energy on the field, make everyone else also talk and give energy that way.
Now, we just said goodbye to Raphael, and he is somewhat, I would say, legendary with his work ethic on the court and also in the classroom. He's been called possibly the best student at the university by one professor, David Bulla. Now, you are on your way to earning that same kind of reputation with your work in the classroom. Tell everybody your grade point average, because I have a feeling I know what it is, and it's very impressive. And then some of the things you do around campus with working in different areas to, you talked about being vocal on the court, you're also vocal with your fellow classmates.
My GPA is 3.8, I believe, right now.
And what's your major?
Computer science. So, and I'm a tutor. I'm actively in events. I'm talking with my classmates. I'm helping them. So, yeah. In a way, because I'm always doing something, it makes me better also.
Communication is one of your strong points, and the team would not have been able to close out the season with a win and your 10th straight win without you. Congratulations on the contribution. Looking forward to seeing you throughout the postseason.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good one, buddy. Wow, I said on the air today that there were a couple moments when I kind of didn't think the team had it in them, playing with multiple guys in foul trouble, 2 key players, your 2 point guards fouling out. You get the win anyway. What are your thoughts?
You know, without Rob, we're not in this situation. He did not play well early. He missed a couple bunnies. He missed a rotation defensively. Boy, chased that loose ball down, laid it in to tie the game. So it's a great thing for him because he didn't play well and he bounced back. Major foul trouble for us. We had to take the big foul out of the game. We had to switching ball screens. We had to make an adjustment at halftime. Now, I kept saying we got to get under 10. Boy, it was 11 with 11 minutes to go. Then when we got to 61-55, we ran a play to get a 3 to see if we could tighten it up, because what they were doing was holding the ball. So, great team win. very frustrating because you have a lot of guys sitting over there. They guys look like they got shot out of a cannon on some calls. So, but we were able to get the win. Saved our 2 timeouts at the end because Darren and Tyree over there with me. Miguel's not a true point guard, but he held on to it and he made his free throws.
With Miguel running the point at the end, and you went, was that a set play to get Troy Cracknell a 3 when he got fouled?
Yeah. What we did was it's hard for him to enter the ball, so we called something to relieve the pressure for him. Miguel makes great decisions. He's not comfortable with the ball. So if Troy got fouled, it was a big shot. Same thing, Troy didn't, he foul trouble all night. It's so hard to play well when you're in foul trouble. But he got the offensive rebound, laid it in, or got fouled. And that kind of got him going a little bit and gave him the confidence to shoot it. We came out the overtime, and we were going to run a play for Troy to get a 3, or Miguel to get a 3. So, like I said, it's a great effort. It's one of the games we probably should have lost, but we kept digging. I'm just happy for Hoffa. I know his mom's watching back in Brazil, and a special night for him.
Yes, back to Robert Barloon. You said he didn't play well early. When you went to him in the second half repeatedly, it wasn't because there was no other options. You had something in mind defensively with how Georgia College was playing. What did he bring defensively that really helped?
We switched the ball screen, okay? He's not great at it, but he's definitely better than Tyshawn at it. And Rob's a big communicator. He does communicate. One time we got in the wrong spot, but he kind of directed us back. He's like an air traffic controller back there. So he did a great job. There's 2 ends of the court. Everybody wants to talk about the scoring part. He did a great job. He got a big rebound late, and he understands what we're doing defensively better than anybody else.
Yeah, it was like there was a situation where they were trying to set a screen with his man, and he and Raphael would switch.
Yeah, they switched the ball screen, flare screen. They were both smart enough to do that. We got caught one time. Unfortunately, the guy didn't make it, number 2. But we just couldn't let them. We couldn't let Thomas beat us. The big decision I was making late was, do we double Thomas? And Tyree said, nope, I got it. All right, So, but it was a good win. And like I said, this is not an easy game for us to play in because the matchups the way they play.
Well, and on top of that, we'll see the way it all shapes. We might see him again.
See him Wednesday at 7 o'clock, I think. So, but we'll, like I said, we'll enjoy senior night with our guys and then get back to practice on Sunday.
Great job, incredible win, 10 in a row. Congratulations. We'll see you for the quarterfinals.
7 o'clock Wednesday. Thank you.
7 o'clock Wednesday. The team's won 10 in a row. It just so happens that the team closed last regular season with 10 wins in a row. They went on to win 3 in the Peach Belt tournament, become the Peach Belt champions, won 2 in the NCAA tournament before finally bowing out in the Sweet 16 round. Follow along as they attempt to match that feat and maybe even surpass it this season. Thanks for joining us. Sending it back to you, Charles.
Well, thank you, Chad. I appreciate that. We overcame a 3-point loss on the Bobcats floor of Centennial Center 5 weeks ago. And tonight, they arrested those demons. And as they had in each of the cases of teams that defeated us throughout the regular season, Augusta comes back with another huge win, this time in overtime. 84-76 was your final score. As we look at the numbers that matter to you, Augusta trailed at the break 43-28, but in the second half outscored the guys from Georgia College and State University 39-24. And that tied things up at 67. We went to overtime, and Augusta outscored them 17-9 for an 84-76 victory. Individually, starting with the visitors, they were paced by Wesley Simpson with 21 points and 8 rebounds. He had 3 assists on 8 of 15 shooting, as the coach talked about the possibility of maybe going after Thomas or Simpson. Both of those were major factors in this one. Fortunately for us, Wesley Simpson fouled out in that overtime session. Jordan Thomas, he the leading scorer, averaging 19 points a game, one of the elite scorers in the league. Had 19 in this one, along with 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals, but he also turned the ball over 5 times in this ball game. 5 of 10 shooting for the outstanding scorer, Jordan Thomas, in the loss. Brandon Thomas, no relation that I know of, had 10 points and 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 3 of 8 shooting and 3 of 7 from three-point land. Justin Cave, the other double-digit scorer for the visitors. Justin, 4 of 10 shooting, 3 of 7 from three-point land, 3 of 6 from the line, finished up with 14 points and 1 rebound. They shot 41% from the field, 39% from three-point land, and 82.6% on 19 of 23 from the charity stripe. For Augusta, we were paced by Rafael Montero on senior day. How appropriate is that? 8 of 13 shooting from the field, 2 of 4 from three-point land, 7 of 8 from the line. He had 10 rebounds, so a double-double performance, along with 3 assists and 1 turnover for the guy who leads us in turnovers. So that's a good sign heading into the postseason. Tyshawn Crawford had 8 points and 8 rebounds in limited action. He only played 24 of the available minutes here today. Tyree Myers finished up 4 of 7 shooting, 3 of 3 from long range, 3 of 4 from the line, 14 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and a steal for Tyree Myers. And Myers also fouled out of the contest. Miguel Arnold, 4 of 9 shooting for the field, 2 of 4 from three-point land, 6 of 6 from the line. He had 16 points in the game. Troy Cracknell with the big points, all of those in the second session and overtime. 8 of 9, all of them coming from the charity stripe in that second session, meaning second half. 8 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist here this afternoon. Sean Moss played 13 minutes, had 3 points off the bench. Darren Lucas White off the bench, fouled out of the game, but had 6 points and 2 rebounds, 3 assists today. And then Anthony Torelli played, did not score. Robert Barloon, you heard from him, 2 of 4 shooting from the field, 4 points and 3 rebounds for the young man who tutors and also is a Dean's List student athlete for Augusta to help pace them. And Gabriel Mahler played but did not score for the Jaguars. Again, their final score, 84-76. Augusta shooting 44.9% from the field, 22 of 49, 8 of 20 from long range, 40%, and then 32 of 39 from the charity stripe. That's 82.1%. Augusta 22 points in the paint to 18 for Georgia College, 10 second chance points for Augusta, 5 for the Bobcats, and 13-8 the advantage in bench scoring for Augusta. We had 6 ties and 4 lead changes, and Augusta's lead by 9 was their largest at the 14:53 mark of the first half. Georgia College gave up what was a 16-point lead in the second half to watch Augusta come off the deck and win this one in overtime, 84-76. So for my broadcast partner, Chad Cook, and for the student athletes, of course, Clint Bryant, the athletic director, student athletes, and Dip Mitras, and everyone associated with Augusta University, we want to thank you for tuning in to the Senior Day doubleheader. The women in action in our first one, and the women were able to survive and continue. They'll be playing in March Madness as well. 65-51, they were victors in their contest versus the Bobcats, and they'll be on the road next Wednesday. And for Augusta, they'll be home at 7 o'clock this coming Wednesday against an opponent unknown, but more than likely it'll be Georgia College. The same team we faced today. We'll face them again on Wednesday at 7 p.m. We'll be on the air about 6:55 with that one for you. Until then, for everybody associated with SUV TV and AUG B-Ball, I'm the Mac Daddy, Charles McNeil, saying good night and God bless everyone.